Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV. Coming into the franchise, had you been a fan of the franchise, or did you have to catch up and watch the first two films?
Super duper fan. I mean, I was just in love with Tron, everything about it. Huge fan of the franchise. Absolutely incredible that I get to be here today. Just a dream come true.
Coming into this, how much of a challenge is it putting in what we know from the franchise, mixing in music from Nine Inch Nails to mix in your sense, your style of directing?
Well, I think like music is such a big part of this franchise, you know, all the way from Wendy Carlos to obviously Daft Punk, and then, you know, so that was always at the top of our list to get like, and I was honestly like a little anxious about it, you know, like who can we even bring on to top this? And you know, Trent and Atticus and in Nine Inch Nails were always at the top of our lists, and I must say the day I learned that they were going to do it, and not only as Trent and Atticus as the composer, but as their band Nine Inch Nails, then I realized, okay, we have a chance here. This is going to be awesome, and I used that very much during the production of the movie to like listen to it, you know, Nine Inch Nails music, to really get into the groove of it a little bit and making it feel a little grittier, a little darker, and, you know, a little bit more industrial for you know, it's not your you know, everyday Disney movie. This.
What did you want to add to the character outside of what the script called for?
Well, it's a great question. I think humanity, heart, a little humor. That was something we talked about a lot. Is you know, when you're experiencing life for the first time, there's got to be some funny moments. You know, there were a lot of things we talked about at the end of the movie, like the first time you get brain freeze from eating ice cream too quickly, or, you know, if you had a Sour Patch Kid, or what it might be like to experience.
We shot some of those too.
Yeah, it's just some of them. To you know, just to think about what it's like to experience life for the first time. So, yeah, those things, and to make sure that I did whatever I could on my end to support Joachim in making a film that hopefully blew away audiences like it did for me when I walked in as a 12-year-old kid. My mind was blown. So, yeah.
Fans are expecting Easter eggs. Obviously, there's too much, you know, from 20 years from the last film. You know, as a director, you know you have to place them in there. And then there's, like I said, the music's also a character. How much goes into it? Like, okay, let's just not make it, you know, just throwing it in there, but let's make it a part of the story.
It's always a challenge when you make the next installment in any franchise. I've done that a couple of times now, and it's such a it's a balance. And I must say also with Tron, it's like the fan base of Tron are it's an intense, you know, and they know what they want, and they know what they like, and they know you know, what they want to bring from the old films. And so for me, it's always like, okay, what do we bring in? And obviously we have to have Easter eggs, and we need, you know, and that's why bringing Kevin Flynn, obviously, and bringing back the light cycles, all of that is so important. And at the same time, we have to take it to the next level and tell the next chapter in the Tron universe. So I hope that we have found that perfect balance.
At the end of the day, are you more tech savvy now than you were before?
I would like to think so. Yeah, I'd like to think so. I think we all are, because, you know, when we started this film many years ago, it was about 9 years ago, the world was a different place. So I think there's a guy who had a famous quote that software will eat the world, and now it looks like not just software but other things as well. And so much of what's being discussed in the movie is happening in the real world now. So I think that's pretty fascinating. And I hope that, you know, people that are thinking about going to see this film, you know, they're in for a treat. Joachim brought like a size and a scope to the movie. He brought a film that's full of heart and humor and action and excitement. It's technological at times, but it's also just a fun ride.
Fun ride indeed. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV. Here we are. Obviously, how much of a fan were you of the franchise? People like to say they watched it, but let's be real honest. You're an actress. You work a lot. When do you have time to watch movies? So did you have to go back and rewatch the first 2 films to get familiar with the franchise?
Right. Well, my honest answer is I wasn't born yet when the first movie came out.
Okay.
So I kind of missed the boat the first time around. And then I caught it with Legacy. But it really wasn't until I got involved with this 3rd installment that I became a Tron head. Like I basically went to Tron school and now I'm like fully immersed in ways that I can never be untangled from Tron.
How tech savvy are you in real life?
I think I'm like pretty good. I do try to have healthy boundaries with it. Yeah, I mean, the movie itself kind of talks about this relationship that we have. Like, it's so undeniable that we are so fully embedded with tech and AI, and it's inescapable. But yeah, asking the question of like, well, how do we maintain and protect our humanity while also being surrounded by all of this this tech?
Now, there's a lot going on in this movie. You know, how were you with the CGI? Was this the first time you've done it, or are you used to it now?
Absolutely, the first time. It was so humbling and ultimately so much fun. I mean, that cliche of you're acting opposite tennis balls and pieces of tape and all the blue screens, it's true. That's what you have to do. But it's just like going back to basics and getting to act that way is it's challenging, but ultimately so fulfilling. And to do it with this cast too, I was in very good hands.
We've seen you on TV, we've seen you in other projects, but when you work on the scale of this film, you know, with the CGI and you're in a big role, what did you learn? What's your takeaway afterwards, skill set wise as an actress, that you can take to whatever project you do next?
Yeah, I think as a woman and being the age that I am, getting to do something so physical and like being in my body and doing that kind of work was so gratifying and really fulfilling to get to do that. And the kinds of stunts we were doing and wire work and lollipop rigs and, you know, falling from the top of a building and trying to do that without laughing and screaming. I'm totally hooked. I love this.
So it's funny, you just mentioned preparation. So physical wise,
Yes.
how much did you do that's different from what you normally do to stay in shape?
It was completely different. I think the day I found out that I was doing this, I spoke to the guy, the trainer, this ex-Navy SEAL who trains all the Chris's and Brad Pitt and me. And we really thought about how to be prepared. There's a lot of running in the movie, and let's just say I am now reading scripts in a different way and just really paying attention to every time the word running and running for your life appears in a script.
You've got this. You've got the morning show. You know, how do you stay humble amidst both things happening at the same time?
I have 2 kids that are 6 and 9. They keep me very humble.
Really?
Yes.
You know, but like, hey,
My
listen,
voice.
a lot of things have happened in the last few years where your profile's gotten bigger. You know, are you still auditioning, or are things coming to you? You know, is it a good way to say what you want to do?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I love to audition. Yes, that's becoming rarer and rarer, but when the opportunity presents itself, like I really enjoy that process. It's a nice way for everyone to be in agreement about what the character is and how I want to play the character, and does it fit in line with the creative and the director. I love to audition, so I guess I'm sort of asking to audition more again.
Going back to Tron, you know, are you a video game person?
Well, not really. Growing up, I wasn't really allowed to play a lot of video games. For me, it was more like Tetris and things that felt kind of educational or learning adjacent. So, yeah.
Congrats on the role. Congrats
Thank
on the
you
film.
so much.
Congrats on the show. You got a lot going on. Take care.
Thank you.
Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV. So how caught up are you with the franchise? Did you watch it initially, the first two, or did you have to go back?
Oh, I'd seen them. It had been a while since I'd seen them. Do I feel like I was caught up? Sometimes it helps, and sometimes it doesn't help. You know, but yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'd seen the originals, but I definitely revisited them after signing on to this, and yeah, it's cool to study the lore and the world, and but it also is terrifying because they're great films, and it's very big shoes to fill. So
Exactly. Knowing that both of you have been part of lures before, you know how the fan base is. When they start asking you about Flynn and all that, you just can't say you don't know.
Right.
They will crucify you. You know.
Fair enough.
Right.
Next question is, how tech savvy are you guys?
Oh, I'm awful. I am useless. Absolutely useless.
What?
Yes.
Not on the phone, not on the apps.
I mean, there are
good.
so many things that my phone and my computer can do that I haven't a clue about. And every once in a while, like after it's been around for 5 years, somebody will point something out and I'll remember it for a day and then I'll forget it and then I'll never use it again. I'm that person. Yeah.
What about yourself?
Pretty basic stuff. I can't do. I wish I could code and program and.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just like.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's a lot of it's.
I saw you on a phone yesterday, and you were moving so much faster than I move on my phone.
Really?
But that's just a generational thing. Yeah.
Well, for a franchise like this, obviously, as we all talked about the lore and the fan base, what went into saying yes to taking on the roles?
Oh, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty easy. I mean, as a fan, and also stepping into. It's been a while since I've done sci-fi, and so stepping into sci-fi again was something that is so beloved and was clearly going to be handled, you know, with a lot of care and respect, and you know, a lot of dough. So it felt like, it felt like a fun prospect.
Not to give out any spoilers of it, but it seemed like you had a lot of fun with your character. Like you get to, it displays certain emotions that like, okay, you know, when you're playing that role, you can just go all out because a lot of it's all facial expressions.
Yeah.
You know, does that work or is it just like, is it all on the script?
I think, you know, one of Joachim is a fantastic director, and I think he was instrumental in helping to play around with it. You know, we'd go big, and then we go medium, and we go small, and then we sort of play around with the tone of it, and really just experimented with it to see what was working and what was not working. And I trusted him completely, and he was a big reason why I signed on to this film because I felt like he was collaborative and knew what he was doing, and had worked on these big budget films before, and
But he brought so much energy. I mean, he brought so much energy to every scene. I can't even imagine having to, you know, but all by himself, you know.
You were there. You were always there, hovering over me.
How was it like getting back, you know, doing work with the CGI?
I mean, it's always a shock, I think, on the one hand, when you walk into a room like the, you know, the first, the big hangar that we shot in, where the things are printed. You know, our first scene was way at the end of that airplane hangar, and the walls were covered in blue screen, and that was it. There was nothing else in there. So you know, you have to fill it in with your imagination, and maybe you've seen pictures and whatnot. But it's you know, a bit daunting to have quite an intimate scene with that as the backdrop. And you kind of have to carry what will be behind you, in a sense, in the scene that you're doing that you can't see, that this is your world, this is the world you exist in, and you're referring to this as being what you have built, and it has to feel like it's true and real. And so it's, you know, it's not a small thing, but it's part of the joy of the challenge, I guess.
Very quickly, Evan, are you a fan of the score?
Are you kidding? Yeah, definitely. It's 9 Inch Nails. I mean, definitely go see it in the theater as loud as possible.
Yeah.
That being said, congrats. Obviously,
you.
the fan base is looking forward to seeing this. We'll talk down the road.
Awesome.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Thank you.
Thanks so much.